Today's episode of The Hype features a provocative conversation about race and race perception. The opinions and views expressed in today's program are not the opinions of the SIHLE Program, Public Health Management Corporation, or this station.
Good looking now. Everybody, let me tell you that you're beautiful. So beautiful. God made you beautiful. Beautiful. Hey there, excuse me, miss. No disrespect, you're very precious. Please tell me what's your name. You're a precious gem and God's to blame. No, I'm not trying to spit game, cause it's your soul I'm trying to claim. You probably never heard of this. I love a family.
Welcome to The Hype, a show that focuses on issues that affect young women. This show is an extension of the Philadelphia SIHLE Project, which is a healthy lifestyles workshop for Black girls ages 14 to 18. Our workshops focus on healthy relationships, personal communication, gender and ethnic pride, and HIV/STD prevention education. We'll have more info about our workshops at the end of the program. I am your host, Jessica Charles. One of the most talked about and disturbing events of today is the shooting of Treyvon Martin by self-proclaimed watchman George Zimmerman. Recently, talk show host Geraldo Rivera stated that the hoodie that Treyvon Martin wore was just as responsible for his death as the man who shot him. This statement and the apparent racial profiling of this case is the inspiration for today's topic. Dressed to kill. Why is a hoodie a threat to society? Before we begin our discussion, we're going to turn it to Ms. Tiff for more information on the Treyvon Martin case.
Thanks a lot, Jessica. On February 26, 2012, 17-year-old Treyvon Martin was shot and killed by 28-year-old neighborhood watchman George Zimmerman. Martin was visiting his father in Sanford, Florida, and Zimmerman, the self-proclaimed neighborhood watchman, felt that Martin was a suspicious character. An altercation ensued, and Treyvon was killed. Initially, this incident set off an outrage around the country because Zimmerman was not initially arrested and charged with this crime. Lots of protests popped up around the country, including several here in Philadelphia. On April 11th, George Zimmerman finally turned himself in and was charged with second-degree murder. April 20th, there was a bail hearing. During the bail hearing, George Zimmerman made an apology to the parents of Treyvon Martin for the loss of their son. He was also given a $150,000 bond, which he posted and is now living free in a secret location. We will keep you up to date on the contents of this case in the weeks and months to come. Now back to you.
I was actually on vacation when the incident occurred, and I received a text message from my aunt, upset about something. Somebody named Treyvon Martin, but I did not know the great scale and how important this person is to our modern day society.
My thoughts on it is that it was very, very cruel. I think that it was so wrong. I feel like justice do need to be served, and I don't think that the guy had any right to take another person's life, and the fact that no one has done anything about it yet is ridiculous. It just shows that, there is still racism out here, and, I just feel like justice needs to be served. The boy was only 17, and you thought that, he was threatening your life with a bag of Skittles and iced tea. It makes no sense. Justice needs to be served.
Well, my thoughts on the Treyvon Martin incident are, I believe he was wrongfully killed just for the fact that he looked suspicious for wearing a hoodie. And not only was he just wearing a hoodie, he was wearing a hoodie in the rain to protect himself from the rain. So just because someone wears a hoodie or just because someone wears a certain piece of clothing that makes them look suspicious, it goes back to stereotypes. And I believe that George Zimmerman isn't getting prosecuted, or everything isn't getting followed through by the Florida Police Department. So it's going to take a lot more of the nation, to stand behind him and rally them for his wrongful death.
I think Treyvon Martin was murdered, plain and simple, and I think it's really a tragedy that we're even having to have this conversation, because the laws in at least Florida and other states in this country would allow someone to, without any premeditation whatsoever, just take out a gun and shoot somebody on the street. So I think that it's a real tragedy all around.
My thought is that it's not a black or white thing. It's a right or wrong thing. I also think that people need to know the laws in their state. Those laws have been there. It wasn't until this incident that happened with him that people really started to pay attention, and now they're up in arms. So we need to be proactive about our laws. We need to know them, and if we're not happy with them, then we need to fight for them. Just because somebody is wearing a hoodie, stereotyping. Is that right? No, definitely. So we go back to the right or the wrong thing. Justice needs to be done. In the end, I'm so sure that it will be.
And I just think that it's just a reality of where our American society is. If you have dark skin, you are still stereotyped. You are still killed just because. I think that racism may not be as blatant, but it is still alive. It's not just the Treyvon Martins, it's the Muslim woman who was mutilated around the same time. It was the woman who was shot in her head. Violence and racism is still alive. I think that regardless if Treyvon Martin punched him, beat him up, this man was told by the police not to follow him. He followed him anyway, and he had no right to shoot him.
Today we are broadcasting from Hope Charter High School in the West Oak Lane section of Philadelphia. We are going to hear from the young ladies of Hope and get their opinion on the Treyvon Martin case, stereotypes, how fashion affects perception, racial profiling, and how all of this affects their relationship with Black men. My co-host for today is Erica Lynn. Erica, why do you think people believe that you are a menace to society if you are a minority and wear a hoodie?
Well, a lot of times I think it's about the stereotypes. So a lot of times people say if you're Black, you have a hoodie on, and you're with a group of people or not, that you're up to no good. Either you're a drug dealer or you kill people, or just random stereotypes that they make about people that wear hoodies. So I think that it's just something that's misconstrued in society, that these are the people that are doing wrongdoings, when in fact a hoodie keeps you warm in the winter. You throw your hood on, your ear's not cold, but a lot of times they do believe that it means you're doing something wrong. So let's take a minute and see what the girls from Hope Charter School has to say. Welcome, ladies. Hi. All right, so why do you believe that people think that if you are a minority and you wear a hoodie that you're a threat to society?
Because sometimes, when you turn on the news, that's all you see, somebody running up on somebody with a hoodie and stuff like that. So that's what you see on the news all the time.
Because you can't see their face, so sometimes you're going to think that they suspect.
Most times when young guys or anybody is committing crime, they do put a hoodie on, to look suspicious, or you really can't see them, to be camouflaged from everybody else, stuff like that.
So how do you all feel about the Treyvon Martin case?
I think it's really bad. I feel like he shouldn't have gotten killed for that. I feel like he was really innocent, and George Zimmerman shot him just because it was something to do.
I think he was treated unfairly, and he shouldn't have been killed because George Zimmerman, whatever his last name is, he didn't get a drug test or no alcohol test or anything, and you don't know what type of drugs he was on. He's not supposed to be carrying a gun at his job, even though he has permission to carry a gun, not at work. other than that, then I don't feel like it was fair at all. Like the whole situation.
But since it's a different state, it's like they all have different rules. So it's like in Florida, he was allowed to carry a gun, and if you look suspicious, then you're to get shot. And then it's like in Philadelphia, it's not like that. You have to call the police, and you have to wait for a policeman to come out, and you're not to follow the person, because anybody know not to follow somebody that you think looks suspicious.
Yeah, but in overall, he wasn't supposed to follow him. In Florida, neither. He wasn't supposed to follow him at all. He was supposed to contact the police, and the police deal with it. But he took matters to his own hands and went on and followed him anyway and attacked him when he didn't do nothing. And first of all, he came out of a Wawa. What was he about to go do?
He abused his authority.
It was a racial profile.
Yeah.
I feel as though it wasn't right. Don't nobody know the true story but Treyvon and Zimmerman. So
as I see it, I think it's just ridiculous because his father was in the neighborhood. He lived in the neighborhood. Although it was a white neighborhood, he had the right to follow him. You don't have, like, as I see it.
I feel as though he felt he didn't belong there, so he took matters into his own hands.
He's being racist.
He abused his authority.
And the crazy thing is, he was like right down the street from his house where he got shot at.
He
was on his way home.
Oh,
He some Skittles.
It probably was cold. It was raining. They said it was drizzling.
And his hair didn't want to get wet.
Yeah.
And the news report said that George Zimmerman was calling out for him like, hey you, stop. But he's a young male.
Yeah,
we all walk around with earphones in our ears. If it's raining, I'm going to put my hood on. I'm not going to let my hair get wet.
Alright, so why do you think that hoodies are banned in schools?
I think hoodies are banned in school for a safety hazard.
Yeah.
Like people trying to fight somebody, put their hood on their head and like beat them up or something like that. Like anything can happen. Like,
Or someone could come into school and you won't know who they are.
Yeah.
Or even like somebody could just have enemies and be walking up the steps. Oh, I don't like her, and I snatch her down the step by her hoodie.
I thought hoodies was a uniform thing. I didn't think it was anything for like protection of anything. I thought it was a uniform thing, like to show your logo and stuff like that. Because you can't wear sweaters either, so I just thought it was a uniform.
In this school, you're not supposed to have a hood on. It's not professional.
Yeah. It's not right.
It's the school environment.
You go to your job with your hoodie on.
Yeah. Getting you ready for the real world. Why would you wear a hoodie
Interview.
at
Who's
school?
gonna wear a hoodie at an interview?
Yeah.
I was just like,
Okay.
So why do you think minorities are more likely to be victims of racial profiling?
Just because we are younger.
You mean
and
black?
We have the stigma.
we haven't
It
really
been
learned
going on
everything
for a
in
long
life that
time.
we need to.
It's like it go way back. They go way back to people like slaves. Right. So it's like it's never going to stop. It's never going to end. As much as we wanted to end, it's never going to end. It's always going to be something with the black community. And it's like if they don't feel safe, then they feel as though they could do something.
it's because it's more black on black crime more than anything.
Right. And I think that like, because you're younger, you feel like you can get away with more stuff. So they think that young people just want to do whatever they want to do. Like when you young, like and you get locked up or whatever, like you're not really going to serve no time like you would if you was older.
Alright, so how do you think how the way we dress affects the way that other people perceive us?
Like if a female dressed with no clothes on or, you know, little clothes, she's called out her name. She may be, she may not be, you know, a hoe, but that's what other people see, so now that's what they think. Or a guy may wear a hoodie, or he got his hands in his pocket, now he a gangster, or his pants hanging down. But he could just want to have swag.
Right. It's probably like the way is your body language.
Not like it's not the way how you dress. It's your body language, the way you dress. So
if somebody come outside with mini skirts, some fishnets, and some heels, you gonna be like, look at this hooker.
But I think you can wear whatever you want to wear. It's just the matter that your body language. It's just the matter that your body language show.
the way you dress, you representing yourself. The way you dress. As far as your body language, how does your body language look?
People have different styles.
But if I see someone walking around looking like Steve Urkel, I'm gonna think that he real smart. He could be the one that's a suicide bomber or something.
Right. But I want to know if it was another Hispanic man, like his culture, with a black hoodie on, with a hood over his head, and his jeans on, would you think he's suspicious?
That brings us to our next question. Do you think others, especially other races, are threatened by you?
Yes. I think they feel as though blacks are getting too powerful and they're trying to stop before it gets to a head where we're taking over because now blacks, they're not just what they are.
Like we're being harmed in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But when you watch the news, you see mostly black faces. So that's what people want to think of. Okay, it's mostly you guys.
It's killing people.
Y'all killing people.
Y'all the threat.
So now
the rich smile, poor.
And mostly, it's not just blacks. It's white, Hispanic, Indian, whoever. It's not going to change. Like they're gonna put it on us. They not. It's everybody. It's all race. All of y'all is doing what we doing also. So why is y'all putting us on blast? Why y'all putting us on the news?
The white man is in charge of everything. So black people is always going to be the victims, no matter what.
So how do you think that these negative stereotypes of men affect our relationships with them?
It's like if I bring a boy home to my father and his pants are sagging and he got on a hoodie and my father say he's Hispanic or something, my father will automatically look at him like, oh, he's bad news. He's not a good guy. Even if my dad was black, no matter what, from seeing the stereotypes and the stigma, automatically think, oh, he bad news. He no good. Even with a big brother or anybody, they automatically think that he's no good. He's nothing. When he could not be that. It couldn't be that at all.
So how does that affect your relationship with the men because of the negative stereotypes that it has?
They feel like if your parents don't respect the fact that you bring in this kind of person in the house because they think he bad, then he's like, well, I don't need to be with you. So it just affects the way you feel about him or whatever the situation.
Or a lot of women think, I don't want this type of guy. So they some of them turn gay. Some of them start to look at themselves and pity themselves. Like, dang, what's wrong with me? Because now these guys are bad and they look bad, so he want to stand out. Now, he want to stand out. Now it's like, what do we do as women?
So, what do you think can be done to improve the image of minority youth?
There's not much to
stop flash mobbing.
We got to do that. So there's not much that you can say that has to be done. They're always going to have that stigma on us, that stereotype. They're always going to feel the way they feel about minorities.
I think maybe if people could, like young men could stay in school longer, like people strive for them to stay in school, then things will change. Won't be as much young violence out if they're in school.
And after school program,
more job. I think maybe if we had help or something, they don't do nothing for us.
Always jumping on our back about.
Regardless of the situation, no matter what we do, it's always going to be. That statistic or how they feel, that's always going to be with them. Like, it's nothing, no matter what we do, whether we do good or bad, it's just, they're going to see the same thing.
Have you guys ever felt like you were racially profiled?
Yes. Can I tell you my story?
Sure.
I was waiting for the bus, and I was walking in the street to see, like, if the bus was coming, and this white lady gonna lock her door, like I was gonna get in her car. And I was like, and the cop was like, yes, that is ignorant. I can't believe she did that. I was like, yes. I really was like, why would she lock her door like I was gonna really get in her car?
No, I was getting on the bus. It's raining, so I get on the bus like I'm mad. So this white lady on the bus, she was like this, but she was like, and it's like, what am I going to do? Like, what can I do to you? Like, you an old lady, and I'm 5 feet, like 105 pounds. What I'm going to do to you?
I was up King of Pressure one day, and it was at nighttime, and I had lost my train fares and my money and stuff, and I couldn't get on the bus and stuff. So I was in the Cheesecake Factory, and it was a man and his daughter, I asked his daughter to use his phone, her phone, and then he snatched the phone from me, like really snatched it. That's when he walked in the restaurant and stuff, and I was like,
And then one time I was about to be on the bus or whatever, and this lady, I was about to sit down, and this white lady going like her bed right there, like, so I couldn't sit in the seat, like.
But it's like when you go in stores, it's the same thing. They follow you down every aisle, especially when you go to a hair store or with the Chinese people. It's like Chinese people. They do not play. We watch
No, I know what I want, lady.
The mall, everything. You can't go nowhere without getting followed.
it could be a white person with like 50 bags, a big duffel bag, and they not following them.
And they're stealing.
They'll be following us. Yeah.
Do you think there's anything we can do to overcome racial profiling?
No.
I think people are wrong.
It's
right, because everybody got the same attitude. Well, they're going to perceive it this way, so we might as well continue doing what we're doing, which is, I feel as though they could change it.
No matter how much we try, even if we want to try to change it, it's still not going to change. It's still going to be the same. Like,
why do you feel that way?
Because at the end of the day, all of us in here, they can have the same outlook on all of us. Like, oh, they're not doing anything. They don't do nothing with themselves, and all of that. We could be getting straight A's, doing everything, like having be the greatest girls in the school. They're still gonna look at us that same way because the way we dress, the way we walk, the way we talk, and the way we play around. And because we're minorities, they automatically think, oh, she got a weave in her hair. She not doing nothing with herself.
And it's been going on for too long.
Wait,
since before we was born, like.
Do you feel like you've been judged based on the way you dress?
Yes.
How so?
Well, for me, I dress differently, and like I get judged like, oh, she's weird, because like I don't know, it's just.
I feel as though it's our body types. Like, if it's a skinny white girl with booty shorts on, and then I come in here and I got a little butt, they gonna basically look at me like, oh, she's a whore and she's selling her behind and all this stuff. That's not right.
Or when a girl have a half shirt and her belly out. Say I have a half shirt, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. If a girl have a half shirt and I have a shirt, they gonna like look at me and say like, what is she doing? She look a hot mess. But if they look at the girl, they gonna say, oh, she cool, she cool. No, it's not cool. I like that. It's not cool.
The way, like our hair, everything, like I said back to here. They see a white girl with extensions in hair. Oh, it's so lovely. They see me with a weave. They like,
she bald edges.
Oh, I bet she bald head. She don't got no hair, and my hair could be down my back longer than my weave.
Right. But not all white people is the same. Like you had certain ones. You have certain ones that still go by like how they treat people back in the day, and it's not all white people aren't the same.
They are.
White people look at your color. And not all. It's some days you can actually find that they'll treat you just like a regular person. Like
racism is still being taught.
Human being.
People still teach their children to tell, oh, don't talk to them because they black.
You're white. You're black.
Don't talk to them. I went to school in a white neighborhood, a whole white school. It was probably, I could say, it was probably 10 black kids. I went all the way out by Pennypack Park, and it was like. It was kind of racist, like I say, because it was like they used to always try to suspend me, like for doing things. And it was like I just felt odd because it's like it's all these white people, Chinese, Hispanic, and there's not enough black people. And I just felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like I was out of place because it was like they would do things that make me seem like I'm being picked at. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being picked on. But
no, I tell y'all something. Like, I used to live on 69 again with all the Puerto Ricans. And, like, one day I was walking down this block trying to go to the Chinese store. And, like, they was out. It was real dark outside. And there was all these Puerto Ricans with outside. And they started throwing rocks at me. It's kind of pretty, though. But it's it.
Me, I used to live in North Carolina in 4th grade. It used to be Puerto Ricans, like, black people, Hispanic, all of them. Me, when I was a little girl, I didn't hold no grudge. My mom said I should not take nothing from the white, they black, white, Hispanic, nothing.
So, one day, a girl, she just, because before I cut my hair and all that stuff, I had long hair, and she was just twirling my hair. I told her to stop. So that's when she was like, I don't know, I ain't trying to curse, but she said, shut up, Black B. And I looked at her. And I punched her in her face and I got suspended. But my mom, she always told me never take nothing from a white girl because I already know. Like,
it was an island town. It was basically kind of like up the mountains. And I went to, that's the largest school in Pennsylvania. And it's basically, there's like 5% black people in that school.
And it's the ones that are black, they're black and white. So when I came there, they looking at me like, well, who this girl? She from Philly? They automatically thought my mother and my father didn't know. Like I didn't know my father. My father was in jail. I was broke and everything. Like they just thought that I was just the worst child ever. Then when I started talking and they saw what kind of grades I got and all, they like, wow, you are smart.
So it was like that too.
And being black, you always gotta prove something. Like nobody don't ever think
Always
like you smart enough.
Like I had my mom and dad. They used to come get my report card. I was never dirty. I was always on point. Like just how the white people was. I was dressed normally. I had fresh sneakers on, just like everybody else.
All white people, the white people.
Yeah, all people.
All white
Their
people
sneakers
are not fresh.
No, they
Never. $12 sneakers for the suit. They probably wearing some burgundy shorts and tees.
So everything you've all, voiced your opinions and everything. What advice would you give to the future black generations that are coming up?
Be yourself.
Yeah, just be yourself.
No, I was about to, don't take it offensive. Like you're going to take it offensive, but it's like it's never going to stop. It's just going to keep continuing. So you have to get used to it. It's just that's the world. That's how the world is.
And be a better person. Show them what you can accomplish. Show them what you can do. And just like other races think that they're the best that they are, and they the top, you think you the best.
Right.
Right.
You don't think never doing yourself because of the color of your skin. Like you should be treated equally, no matter what color you are.
I'm black. What color skin are you?
Yes.
All people are equal.
Me too.
They said black don't. I got one about right.
Well, I'd like to thank you all, ladies, for everything that you've said. You've given me some insight. I'm sure Erica and Lynn has some insight too, and we really appreciate you all coming out and speaking for the young people and the age group. So thank you all for coming. That's it today for our edition of The Hype. We'll see you next time.
Good looking now, G. Disrespect, you're very precious. Please tell me what's your name. You're a precious gem and God's to blame. No, I'm not trying to spit the game, cause it's your soul I'm trying to claim. You probably never heard of this. I love affair without a kiss. All the diamonds in the world could never hold to your value. You're a precious pearl. So look at your style, beautiful smile, beautiful essence, you a beautiful child. I mean a grown woman, you're grown woman, you in the wrong zone, but it's on when he make you his own. Daddy